Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. Let's talk about some of the things we need to keep in mind when we are doing a tongue tie release case, aka a MYO case, and we're trying to time it with, say, an expansion case, an IPE case, a braces case, and a viz case, some type of phase one ortho case. How do we time things and who's in charge? And I don't know that there is any clear rules, but let's put it this way. I've made a bunch of content on working with ENT, similar but different, right? Still an issue that's going to negatively impact the quality and the direction of the orthodontics. Still something we need to, it's a variable. We need to get it out of the way so we can have a more predictable orthodontic treatment plan, a safe orthodontic treatment plan. So in the ENT world, ENT drives the boat. They trump us. They're physicians, they're specialty physicians. We might be oral physicians. ENT trumps us. If they say nope, surgery's happening first, surgery's happen first. You don't get to do your ortho. I don't care what mom says. I don't care if mom's upset. They decide. If they say ortho can start, ortho can start. It's very simple. I have a stock, piece of paperwork. They decide. They check the box. They say what's happening. So we don't want appliances that are cemented to get in the way of the surgery. That's not going to be allowed if they're having surgery anyways because of the anesthesiologist. Surgery is more important than ortho, or he may say ortho can go first, we'll do surgery after ortho. Easy, right? Okay, myo is a little different because some myologists are dentists, some myologists are hygienists, some myologists are SLPs, speech and language pathologists, some myologists are physical therapists. You, as the dentist, get to trump the myologists. Obviously, standard of care, you need to understand what you're doing. So for me, this is how well do you know this family? I don't want to start a case that I know has a habit for ortho, especially for billing insurance. If we're getting into it, like once we sign this contract and we do this, we kind of got to finish it because they're going to start paying. Like we need to commit to this. So I don't want to start this unless I know the myo is going to happen. So I at least want them to get the ball rolling, know that they're being compliant with it before I would want to get into the ortho. So for me, it's, hey, myo needs to make a treatment plan. Myo needs to tell me that they actually started and the patient's being compliant with the exercises. Then myo needs to tell me that we can start. Usually myo's going to say, hey, I don't want to fix appliance because they got to be able to do their exercises. And from having personally gone through myofunctional therapy treatment before, you can't do that if you have something fixed in your mouth. You got to take it out, do your exercises, put it back in, right? So I was listening to a bunch of podcasts on this topic. You can find podcasts. If you go into Spotify and just search by keywords, stuff's going to come up. And then the AI and the Spotify is going to recommend other stuff too, which is awesome. But basically, they were saying, yeah, the OMT that was doing the podcast was saying, yeah, same thing. They were not as much worried about our our liability, starting a case and not being able to finish it, because I have seen cases where the parents push. No, I don't have money for the OMT. No, I can't find one. There's not one close. We're not going to do it. Oh, our habit is fine. We did an OMT. We're good. Our habit's gone. No, the habit was not gone. It was so obvious to me after the fact, but and weird things happened. A lot of the front teeth were devitalized. The teeth didn't move properly because we're trying to move them back, and the tongue is trying to push them forward, and that's an equal and opposite reaction, and you're not going to make progress, and all you're going to do is damage the roots and the nerves if you do that, and cause perio issues and mobility. So yeah, it really is a problem in many cases. I'm not saying in all cases. It depends on what the habit is, right? But I'm talking more in terms, there's your habits, and then there's, hey, we've got a tongue tie. The tongue tie is causing a habit. This is an anatomical issue that needs to be fixed so that there isn't a habit. This is a situation where it's not the patient's fault, like thumb sucking or even a tongue thrust without a tongue tie. They can reprogram themselves with exercises. They don't have to have a surgery, right? It's different when you have to do exercises, surgery exercises. And if you've ever had OMT treatment yourself, you'll know it starts with exercises to stretch it so that later you can hold your tongue up. And I have a lot of content on this. If you go into my YouTube channel, I have an entire playlist on this. Or you can search by keyword tongue tie. I go through my whole journey for over years of having this done. Because you have to be able to hold your tongue up so that they can do the release. And the idea is that then the tongue will go to where it needs to go. And then you have to finish your exercises. So it's a 3-step process. It's pre-op exercises, the surgery itself, post-op exercises. If any of those fails or doesn't get done, you're going to have a bad outcome. It will. And to be honest, both the periodontist who did my release, three, the periodontist did my release, the cervical chiropractor who helped prepare me for the release and after, and the oral myologist that exercised and got everything. She was the ringleader. She got the periodontist, the cervical chiro. Everyone was involved. And sometimes you also have to have an orthodontist, because if the upper arch is too narrow and you don't have space for the tongue to go once you release it, that's not going to work. All it's going to do is fall back or go forward, right? So every situation is different, is what I'm getting at. So everyone needs to come together as a group and decide on the timing. It's not the patient that gets to decide, and it's not the parent that gets to decide. It's whatever works best. And there's going to be different payments to different people, and you got to keep this in mind. A lot of times this is going to fail, and a lot of times people are just not going to believe it. I mean, it is the truth. Yes, it's going to relapse. Yes, they're going to figure it out in 10, 20, 30 years. Guess what? You can scream until you're blue in the face, and there's going to be people who do not believe you at all. Oh, well, goodbye. Then they can go to somebody else. No sweat off my back, because I know that in my gut, this is not going to go well. I know later this could become a lawsuit, short term, long term. I don't want it on my back. So let someone else have that fail. And it might look good for a few years, and it might not later. But anyways, yeah, there's no set rule with MYO. It's just a matter of communication, and it is tricky. It is tricky. So you guys will, if you communicate well, you'll figure it out and you'll get your rhythm down. All right, thanks.